Okay, this video is dedicated to can we write an equation given 2 bits of information. Now the 2 bits here are listed right here. We are given a point. So again, coming back to starting point, have to start somewhere. Okay, so starting point and slope. Okay, so that's direction. So where do I start and where do I go? Okay, so again, let's recall we have 3 forms that we want to do. Okay, now being that we're going to graph this, we're probably not going to start in this form. So I'm going to say, probably not so much here. Now we could convert here. Okay, so we could take these and change them to get to there. But we're either going to start with a point that's on the y-axis. Okay, so if it's a y-intercept, then we can use this. If it's a point anywhere on the graph on the line, then we use point slope form. Okay, so we're going to basically use these 2 equations here. So let's take a look here. So this will be a good lesson because we can actually visually see what's going on as well. Let's say that we are given the equation um, -2 comma 1. So we're going to start at -2 comma 1 right here. And we have a slope of 2. So we're going to go up 2 over 1. So notice this is where I start. In fact, I'll do that different color. And then from here we go up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, up 2 over 1, and so forth. Now again, you could graph it out and say, oh, I can see where the y-intercept is. That's maybe easier if you graph it, but I'm going to show you easy way so you don't even have to graph it. We're going to use point slope form. So again, point slope form, the skeleton is y minus the y value equals slope and then the x minus the x value. So here's your xy right here, x1, y1. So I'm going to type in y minus 1, so that goes there, equals the slope of 2, and then we have x minus, okay, and since we're minusing the 2, we're going to change to a positive 2, switch the sign, okay. And there is the equation of the line. So if I draw that line in, we can see that there, okay. Now if I said, okay, let's go ahead and convert that to slope intercept form, y equals mx plus b, okay. So let me highlight this first. Let me change it to forms. I'm going to move the 1 to the other side, and then I'm going to distribute the 2. So we're going to have y equals 2x plus 4, and we're going to add that 1 to the back side. So really, it's y equals 2x plus 5. Okay, and we can see that right here as well. Okay, it crosses at 0, comma 5. Okay, so I'm just showing this example to show how to relate it. We don't have to do it every single time. Now here, slope intercept form, we have the slope and the starting point is 0, comma -9. So 0, comma -9, there's my starting point. And then we go from there, direction, which is slope. Up 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and over 1. Up 5, over 1, up 5, over 1, and we could draw our line in, okay? So this, we're going to use y equals mx plus b. And again, the 2 things that we need to find is slope and starting point. So being that we have a y-intercept, that is my b. So I can simply say y is equal to slope of 5 and a starting point of -9. Okay, so again, some people just write it like that, and that's probably preferred. Okay, so notice I use 2 different forms here based on the information given. This time I was given up here, whoops, this time I was given a point, so we use point slope form. And in this one here, we're given an intercept, so I'm going to use, slope intercept form. Okay, all right, let's take a look down here. Now again, this is not a y-intercept, so I'm going to use the standard equation. So I'm going to write it out right now. Fill in my skeleton. Okay, I'm going to, let's write the equation first and see what we get. So we have 2 goes in for x, -4 goes in y, so I change it to a positive, and the slope is -3. I'm going to go ahead and convert it to y equals mx plus b. Now you don't have to, but I'm going to show it just so we can see it. So we're going to have -3x because I distribute. 2 negatives make a +6. Notice the 2 negatives. I'm going to subtract the 4 from both sides. And y is equal to -3x and then plus 2. Okay, make that negative a little more prominent there. Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and graph it and see what it looks like. So we're going to start at 2 comma negative 4. And then from here, we have a slope of negative 3. So down 3 over 1, down 3 over 1, and go backwards. So I'm going to go up 3, back 1, up 3, back 1, okay? And notice if I draw those points in, where does it cross? We have the point given to us, 2 comma negative 4. Great. And we have the y-intercept at 0 comma 2. And notice we could see that in a y equals mx plus b form. Okay, so I really want you to start to see the connections between these equations. And again, we picked the equation that fits our use the best. All right, so let's go ahead and write 2 more examples, and we're going to put them in standard form this time. So notice standard form. Okay, so I'm going to start with, I have a point and I have a slope. So I'm going to use point slope form. I'm going to start with y minus, I always like to write with my skeleton first. Okay, now let's plug in our point. We have a point of negative 3 and then minus 4. Slope of 1/3. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and put it in standard form. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of everything and multiply it by 3. Okay, so I'm going to multiply, this side by 3, multiply this whole thing by 3. So notice here, the 3's cancel. So the only thing left is that. And anything over here, we're going to distribute, so it's 3y minus 12. Okay, now again, technically we don't even need these parentheses over here. So there's nothing outside, so we don't need them. I'm going to get, again, xy on the left, numbers on the right, because we want to put it to standard form as ax plus by equals c. Okay. So first thing I'm going to do is move the 12 over to the other side. Get the numbers situated. So we have 3y is equal to x plus 15. And last step, move the x to the left-hand side. And again, I like to put the x's first because that's what we want to do, alphabetical order. Then the y's, and then the numbers by itself. So right here is standard form. So we have to remember that equation and the original equation are the same line. We're just putting it in a different form based on what we're going to do with it. Okay. All right, now look at here. So what I'm going to do is here is point slope form. So I'm going to, again, use my standard equation. Y minus equals slope, and then x minus. Always start with that skeleton. Plug in our points. So 6 goes in for x, 0 for y, and our slope is negative 1. Okay. All right, so let's put in standard form. So first thing I'm going to do is distribute as needed. Now I don't notice to put plus or minus 0 there. Don't need it, so I'm just going to ignore that because we don't need to write the 0. This becomes negative x and then negative 6. So really the only thing I have to do here is move the x over to the other side. Again, put it in order. X first, then y, then equals negative 6. Okay, so that one worked out pretty nice and easy. Okay, but notice we have to identify the form we're going to and what we have to move in order to make that happen. So that's the whole goal to what we have going on here. I believe that's it. Let me just take a look. Yep, that's all we have for this video, and we'll take it from there.